All right, I'm going to have a seat here. We do have, if you're looking at your programs and wondering where Jacinda Jacobs is, she is hopefully on her way. She had an emergency this morning she had to take care of, so I will sit in her seat while we wait for her. And if you see a gorgeous Latina come up to stage halfway through, I'll jump up and you'll get to know her as well. So we're going to start on the end here with Miss Kristen. And what I'm going to ask our panelists to first do, so our panelists are going to start off by telling us about themselves, a little intro, maybe 3 or 4 fun things. If you have a fun fact or a stupid human trick, you can share that. And then, of course, because of why we're here with each other today, we also want to hear if you yourself have been directly or indirectly affected by cancer. Please share that with us as well. Kristen Hayes.
Okay. Hello. Okay. Hi, I'm Kristen Hayes. I'm a jewelry designer, and a few things to know about me is, one, most importantly, that I'm a mom, and that'll always be my biggest joy for sure. I have been living in Charlotte since 2000. I've been designing jewelry for about 15 years. I have been affected by losing someone to cancer, and it actually ties a little bit into my jewelry. And actually, one of the first designs I had in my mind was based on a good friend of mine who I lost in college, and it was kind of neat. I was making jewelry in college just for fun, not thinking of it as a profession. And my friend happened to be a race car driver, and so his number was 94. And I thought, how can I, as anyone who's lost anyone, grieving is sort of like a full-time job. You carry it. And so I thought, even at my young age, I was thinking, how can I honor him privately and also it be comforting to me? And so I wanted to have like a sterling cuff with his racing number underneath it. And so that's my little story, and I have a shaky voice because I'm quite nervous. Okay.
You did awesome. I'm Whitley, and I am terrified. I'm a mom, first of all, and a friend. I'm a daughter. I'm a grateful follower of Christ, and a professional dog walker, and poop scooper, and chauffeur, and grocery shopper, cook, bed maker. And since we're in the company of women, I figured everybody could relate. And then I play dress up for a living, so yeah, and I daydream all day long and just try to manifest my daydreams with others or other talented, beautiful women around me. And I lost my grandfather to cancer, and I can say that while I know a lot of people who have been touched by cancer, I have not suffered the great loss that many others in this room have. And I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for modern medicine that is able to help people who have been touched by cancer.
Morning, everybody. It's so nice to see everybody here. And Aaron, thank you for having me. I've been a friend of Aaron since I moved to Charlotte in 2006. I've been in hockey my entire career, so since I was 22. I am the only female American Hockey League Chief Operating Officer, so that's something really remarkable. I'm surrounded by a team of ladies that are at that table right over there in my front office, which I'm really proud of. I'm super happy to be in Charlotte. It's so remarkable to see all of your faces looking this way and being in a room together. I mean, this pandemic has been something else, and our team had to shut down for a year, and it's just really remarkable to be back here and all joining together. I have a few interesting things. I was born with 2 teeth. Which made breastfeeding for my mother very difficult, I'm sure. So I then grew another set. And those fell out, and then another set, so I'm sort of a little bit in the shark family, I guess. I am a registered American Indian with the Cherokee Nation out of Seminole, Oklahoma, which is something I don't know if many people know about me. And I have my stupid human trick is I have a remarkable ability to look at a leftover and choose the right container to put it in. It's something else. Like if you guys have leftovers and you have a container or a set of them, I'll come select the right one. So, and then my dad passed away in 2017 from liver cancer after a really long, hard-fought battle, and he is the reason I am who I am, and has really. He was a cowboy in Montana and had a ranch. Sorry, Colorado. Never in Montana, but Colorado. And my whole life, his mantra to me was "cowgirl up." So anybody who's been touched by cancer knows that you just got to get back on your horse and keep fighting the good fight. So Erin, thank you for having all of us here. This is a remarkable group of ladies, but also you are all remarkable for supporting her. So.
Oh Lord, here I am. Y'all, this is out of my comfort zone for sure. I'm turning 40 this year, so I'm embracing the uncomfortable. So here I am. I'm Lindsay Reagan Thorne. I'm a makeup and hair artist, but first and foremost, I'm a mom to a little boy and a little girl and a wife. I've had the pleasure of beautifying so many of you lovely ladies in the audience through my makeup and hair business, Be Pretty. And then I also have another business, Swan Beauty. What else here? I don't really have any party tricks. Just being the friend that's awkward, I trip over my words. Fun fact, I'm from Nebraska. Most people don't know anybody from Nebraska, but now you do. There's lots of corn. My dad's a farmer, and I moved to Charlotte in '01 because I wanted to go to a big city, and my mom and dad felt like this was big enough for a little Nebraska girl, and I never left. Okay, so cancer has not directly affected my life, but it's impacted my life. And through the gift that I've been given as a makeup and hair artist, I've gone into some homes, some really intimate settings. I've gone into the hospital pre-COVID to do makeup and hair for moms and wives who are losing a loved one to cancer. I've seen the machines, I've heard the machines. I've done hair and makeup for women that had to hover around a hospital bed because they couldn't lift their child out of that bed. I've done hair and makeup for a woman whose husband passed away 2 days later after their photo shoot and to cancer, and along with a photographer, and here I am saying the photographer and the nurse, we lifted her husband out of the bed and wheeled him in his wheelchair out to their backyard to have one last family photo shoot. So because of those experiences, it has kind of shaped the way I do life with my family. So Amy, I'm crying. Amy and I are in a Bible study, Awaken, and we're the two that always cry in our little small groups every week, and yes, always tissues, but here we go, okay.
Hi, I'm Chris. I am also known as the Batchmaker. I am a mom to 2 little kiddos. One is 6 and one is 4. I am from Honduras. I moved up for college to Georgia. And yeah, a fun thing about me is I had never been to Charlotte before I moved here. We literally opened up a map and said, this looks fun. And we moved here, and now I have a little bakery, and I feel like such a part of this community. So yeah, and fun trick or something that I do, I keep my girls in the kitchen really entertained. I know a lot of trivia and like random things. So I can play a song, they can play a song, and I know what movie, usually like what year, the actors, and I'm really good to have like at trivia nights, but that's it.
All right. Yes. Oh, and Jacinda is here. Give it up. Come on. I'm just going to make her, let her enter very subtly here. Jacinda, come have a seat, my darling. I'm going to put you right on the spot as soon as you get here. Here, I'm even going to help you up. There we go. There we are. Hi. Good. How are you? Here. Let me take your coat. I don't know why I felt the need to make myself just say that. But I put that on the back of your chair. Thank you. Hi. Here, have a seat. You don't have a mic anyway. Don't worry. You're going to share mine. So as you enter, tell us who you are and a fun fact about you, other than the fact that you can move across a room very swiftly and jump right on the mic.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I want to stand up. Oh my gosh. Y'all, I can say for a fact that this is the best looking room in all of Charlotte right now. I can pretty much bet money. I'm walking, I'm like, y'all look so good. Oh my goodness. Well, my name is Jacinda Jacobs. I'm in media and ministry, so I've been in radio and television and hosting for 20 plus years, but ministry, serving, outreach, giving back, and I heard like the last couple things that you ladies said, just going really deep in life, that has kind of been my passion of like, I want to make sure that anytime I touch the mic that there's some substance behind it, and so it's really special for me to be here. Thank you so much, Rachel, for the invite. Thank you. This touches my heart very much as well, and I'm sure probably you'll talk about it at some point, but something unique about myself, I work for the NBA. I work for the Charlotte Hornets. And you guys ever been to a Hornets game before? We lost pretty bad last night, so we'll just kind of skip past that, but we do have a game tonight. Cute story. So I got an audition to work for the Hornets, and I had wanted this job for a long time. I had been on the stage. I have like done all this stuff. I'm like, this is my job. I got it, right? And all of a sudden, they bring this guy up next to me, and they're like, we have a guest host for you. And I was like, for what? I don't need him. I got this, right? And so we started working together, and I really didn't like this guy. He was short, he was loud, he was extra, and I just felt like he was kind of like taking my shine a little bit. And so lo and behold, he became my husband. Don't block your blessings, ladies. It doesn't always look like how we think. Ladies and gentlemen, I see there's some gentlemen here too. So that is my cute little unique story that I get to work alongside my husband, my partner, my person, and we both love the mic just as you and Jake do. So like we so like admire them, and this is our couple right here. And I'm always like, Todd, do you see their video they just posted? It's so funny. We need to do something. So yeah, a little bit about me, but I can't wait to move around the room and connect with all of you ladies and gentlemen in a deeper way, because this is such a very special event. And thank you so much for everyone, all the team members, everyone that worked so hard to put this together. Thank you, because we need more events like this. So thank you.
Welcome. Welcome to the party, Jacinda. Thank you, ma'am. Here, I'll jump down so that I can move around a little bit and get y'all the mic. Okay, so we have a couple questions we want to ask our panelists that we asked them to share with us this morning, and we'll kind of jump around a bit for that. But again, like I said, if you have questions as well, let me know here throughout the morning. I'm going to start by asking in terms of, because the theme of the morning is in the company of women, right? And we just learned so many fun things about these women. I, by the way, thought you said Nebraska is full of porn. She said corn. I know, it took me a second. I was like, what? That's very off-brand for Lindsay, too. I feel like she's typically just so, you know. And Tara, your fun fact was very weird. So let's start. I love but when you said 2 teeth, born with them, right? Like out of the womb, 2 teeth. Okay, well, things smile for everybody. See, she came around. It all came together. We want to hear from our panelists, particular women who have inspired them. In particular, if they have someone in their lives or a group of women. And I know that you have one that's really unique, so I'd love to start with you, Tara. And if anyone else wants to speak up, grab the mic after, and if not, we can jump in with something else.
All right, so everybody familiar with the Challenger, the Space Shuttle Challenger? So my stepmom's first husband was one of the astronauts on the Challenger. So her name is Marcia Jarvis, and several years after the Challenger disaster, she ended up meeting my dad, and they bought the ranch that I mentioned earlier in my introduction. So not only has she lost her husband in a very public, very dramatic, very extraordinary way, her first husband, she also lost my dad to cancer. So I think what's most remarkable and what's most inspiring about her is that she never missed a beat in life, number one. She's also extraordinarily close to me now. But at the time of the Challenger explosion, there were 2 civilians on the space shuttle at the time. Krista McAuliffe, the teacher's husband, Steve, and Greg Jarvis, my stepmom's first husband. He was a payload specialist, so he was going up to do experiments. And so as a result of the O-ring problem, if you watched the Netflix documentary on the Challenger, it really speaks loudly about the O-ring problem that was a known issue with NASA prior to this shuttle launch. And so the 2 civilians legally could have sued NASA for that disaster. And instead of doing that, she and Steve McAuliffe got together and said, instead of the monetary benefits, I guess, of this disaster, we would like you to start the Challenger Space Centers for Kids across the country. So as a result of that, they exist today, and she is on the board, and she's the reason that they are. So many kids are learning about the space program in space today. So, talk about getting back up on your horse. I'm very lucky to have her in my family, and yeah, it's awesome. So.
I would say that I'm inspired by pretty much every woman that I encounter. I am always seeking inspiration and am inspired by every little thing. But I would say there are two women that come to mind. One is my angel. Her name is Ann Kramer, and she, when I was going through a divorce, she actually sort of sought me out before that at a Bible study. She was the large group leader at my church, Christ Church, and I had a toddler and a newborn, and I had decided to take a step back from my previous career to focus on my children and a time that I wouldn't get back. And, it was just a major shift, and sort of navigating your new role in life and where you were going. And she sought me out and came to me with grace and love and encouragement and compassion. And so then fast forward, when I was going through my divorce, she was really the first person I went to. Kristen Hayes was probably the second. But that was actually when I came to know Christ. And I will never forget, she held me on her couch, and I just cried in her lap, with my head in her lap. And she said, you'll feel him. He'll be there. He'll just be there next to you. And I literally thought that I would look over and there would be Jesus Christ, like, sitting on the couch next to me. And, I had this vision of what he looked like, and he wasn't there. And literally, like, I grew up going to church every Sunday, but my relationship was not as nearly as deeply rooted as it is now. And I do think that those difficult times are when the most beautiful moments occur. And I am forever grateful for Ann taking me to the Lord. And then the second woman is my sweet friend, Pam Stowe, who's actually over there. And I know there are a lot of other women in this room that know and love her. And I can say that she has given me courage and love in my career that is worth more than any dollar amount. There were times where I probably felt like, if I had the resources to hire someone to help me. I've pretty much built this business out of nothing but my sleeves rolled up in a basement with a toddler and a newborn, and the encouragement of love and women around me. But there have been so many times where Pam has just through love, I have felt like I could soar. And I could say that about a lot of other women in my career. So those are my two examples for today.
Okay. So, oh my gosh. Mine would be like I have basically two answers, actually. One, which is very expected, would be obviously my mom. And the reason why I would say her is my mom particularly is she did a wonderful job of like loving us and creating stability, but also giving us a tremendously long rope. And so allowed me to make mistakes and pulled me back in when I needed to be. And so that's awesome. And I think it's partly why I'm an entrepreneur, because she gave me the encouragement. It was kind of like I always had this tiny bit of a safety net, and I was grateful for that. But what's interesting, and I've noticed, and it's obviously my mom, but the second one would be the women that I get to work with. It's really kind of uncanny, like the women that come into my life, and I've noticed it particularly over the past couple of years. It's just such a diverse group of women, and usually, they're coming in. I do a lot of custom pieces and sentimental pieces, and sometimes it's celebrating weddings and babies, and sometimes it's celebrating someone's life. Sometimes it's someone celebrating or their new life after being divorced. And so I get the opportunity to kind of sit with people, and they get to talk about kind of what's on their heart, and then I get to interpret it through my work. And so the one thing recently is I've been exposed to several moms who are grieving and unexpected losses and stuff. And so the thing that I recognized in them that I really admired is they still like seek joy. And that is like one of the most amazing things that I've seen in them. Like, it will be at the table kind of talking about something to kind of create the right design, but within that we'll be crying. There's always tissues on my work table, but then the next minute, like, we're like laughing, and it's like you have to like seek joy. And that's kind of the biggest thing for me personally, is like I'm always trying to look for the good. Like, you have to. And I see that quality in my customers as well. And so just in general, like, I think what you said is like, women amaze me, like, as all of us, right? Like, we're all just doing this deal, and nobody gets it easy. And I get to see that somewhat often, but I don't know, just like all women basically. And then Oprah. I'm like a total like Oprah. I mean, I will bust out some quotes. I would. I mean, I can share some quotes from Oprah. But yeah, so that's it. Yeah.
All right. So a woman that has inspired us or impacted our life is one here in our community, and I had the pleasure of, you probably all know her. She was supposed to be here today. Her name's Ashley Manning of Pretty Things Charlotte, and Ashley came into my life a little over 4 years ago when we moved to Huntersville, to this side of town. I didn't know who she was, but I shared some silly post on Instagram about how I was struggling leaving everything that I knew to move an hour away. So silly, but she slid into my DMs and was like, I think our kids are going to the same school. I'm going to show you the ropes of South Charlotte. And she just showed up in so many different ways. She was also launching a business. She had 4 children, and she is like the helper. She just always has an army of kids at her house. So anyways, that's just a little tidbit of her. But fast forward to December of 2021, she was in an unfortunate accident. And she lost the vision in one eye, and she's undergone, I think she's been under 11 surgeries, major surgeries at this point. She had to miss Christmas with her family because she had to be in a blackout room, laying down to help restore her vision. So she didn't get New Year's. She didn't get Christmas with her family. She didn't get Christmas Eve. But during this time, she was building up one of the biggest serves that I've ever seen Charlotte, the women of Charlotte, come together and do, and that was her widow outreach over Valentine's Day. So as she's in the depths of pain and depression, she is stirring up this really powerful movement. And I was really lucky to be a part of just a really small little part of that and witness what she pulled together and how she served over 400 women with the help of so many of you on Valentine's Day. And during all of this, something that she never spoke about was the pain that she was being faced with and a big surgery a week later that she was about to undergo. So just seeing that and witnessing that was probably one of the biggest things and highlights of my life. So she is a powerhouse. If you don't know her, you need to know her.
So three women that have changed my life completely and continue to do so every day. One of them is here. She's in that corner over there, Amanda. Sometimes people say we look alike, and I'm like, no, we don't look alike. She's beautiful. She's one of the most beautiful humans I know, inside and out. And she came into my life after we had the flood at the bakery. Actually, I knew her when COVID hit, but then the day that I realized she was an angel is the flood happened, and she showed up the next morning, and she just had solutions, and she just had love for me, and she met me where I needed it the most, and she picked me up, and she said, I'll respect whatever you decide to do, but you got this, like, I'm here. And that just changed my life completely, and I love her. Another person that continues to inspire me and encourage me and love me is Lindsay from Babe and Butcher. She and I opened our shops around the same time, and it's like having babies around the same time. So it's like that, solidarity. And it's like when your newborn doesn't sleep, you're like complaining to each other. So she's my person. I talk to her every day, and we share, stories and laugh about things. And she's just one of my dearest friends, and she just meets me where I need to be. Like, she just encourages me if I need encouragement, loves me, and just hears me out, and she's wonderful. And the last one is my daughter, Josefina Leonor. She's 6, and she's in school right now. But the day she was born, I realized that everything completely changed. And not just because I was getting less sleep or, kids are expensive or whatever, but I just knew that I had to work really hard to make the world a little bit better, a little bit safer, a little bit whatever I need to do to make it better, so that she can, when she grows up, she, has it a little bit better than I did, because people paved the way for me to do what I do, what I get to do. So she constantly reminds me, like, she's looking up at you, like, how do I talk about myself? How I exercise and say I'm strong, or, all these things. So she's constantly, her little eyes are looking up, and just that encourages me to be better.
All right, so I'm going to switch the question just a tad. But if you do see my mom, tell her I said that she inspires me. She would want me to say that. No, she really does inspire me. But when I thought of this question, like, I had some time to think about it. My real answer is this. I am constantly inspired all the time from people that I meet every single day. One of the biggest things that really inspires me, like, I just kind of fall in love with a person who, when I watch this happen, and it's your bounce back game. That's what I call it. It's, there's no such thing as being perfect. We go through things. I mean, you heard so many things here, devastating life, traumatic experiences. All of us have been through these, are going through them possibly right now, or will be experiencing some new things in the future. But it's how we go through them and how we bounce back, what we learn from it, what we take from it, what blessings we still see even in the midst of that darkness. That to me is extremely inspiring, and I take that strength from people, and I'm like, because we're looking at them, we're like, wow, like, how did you? But you don't know until you start to walk that walk yourself. So really, I always say bounce back game. That to me is like completely sexy, completely inspiring to me. And my second thing is confidence. I love seeing someone exude with confidence. The way you walk, the way you talk, the way you want to do your hair. Like, no matter what lane or path you're in, if a person is like, I love me because this is how I am, and I just like fall like head over heels for that person. And it's so inspiring to me, because I think we're all just trying to figure it out. Like, who am I at the end of the day? What do I like? I want to chase joy, but it's hard and it's scary sometimes. And so we're trying to figure things out, and especially with children and life, handing you a dose of its best punch, how can we be confident in the skin that we're in the season we're in? And so those are traits that really, really inspire me from people in general. So when you said who, I'm like, well, there's a lot of people. And there's a lot of people in this room right now, and I just want you to know that we see you, and that it's super sexy and so beautiful when you can tap into that. And the last thing I'll say is to give yourself grace. Giving ourselves grace is something beautiful as well, because we don't have it all together. And let's face it, it gets hard. And I got goosebumps when you were like, I just put my head down and just cried, because we've all been there. Or those bathroom sessions where you're laid out in the bathroom crying and just like the ugly cry, you know? But to give ourselves grace in that is like one of the most beautiful, I think, strengthening and bold things that we can give ourselves. So those are the three things that really inspire me as far as women and people in general.
Leave it to the Hornets host to incorporate the term bounce back in her answer, too, right? I see that. So one of the things also we want to talk about here today is, because we are in the company of women, is the community that we all create together and the way that really kind of show up for each other. Because as you've just heard, a lot of the stories here that these women just shared, we are with each other in our times of grief. We are also with each other in our times of joy, and we can kind of do all of that, do life together. You mentioned Lindsay from Babe and Butcher. She just got engaged, right? I saw her post a couple, I don't know Lindsay either, but you know, we all feel like we know each other via Instagram. So I, of course, shot her like, when are we going out to celebrate? Oh yeah, we've never been out. Well, we'll do it sometime. And when we talk about community, many of our panelists have great stories about how the community has come up for them. And Chris, you alluded to this a little bit when you talked about the flood just now, but I would love for you to tell the story a bit more. Wait, it was 2019? It was 2020. Jeez, what a year. Oh, so you remember, right, when Charlotte flooded, you were affected very directly and very extremely by that. Can you tell a little bit about what happened and how the community kind of stepped up for you?
So we had opened our shop in October 2019. 5 months in, the world, stopped COVID in March 2020. And then we were kind of rolling with the punches, kind of doing pickups, and everybody was trying to figure it out. And then in November, Charlotte never floods, or I feel like it doesn't really flood. And it started raining similar to today. And then we started saying, oh, we have to move our cars across the street because, we see water coming up. And we never really thought it's gonna flood. It's gonna flood, but within an hour, it went from just moving our cars from the parking lot to across the street to we see the door and we see water, piling up. And we start throwing towels on there. A girl was throw the flour there. And I was like, I don't want to waste flour. And little did I know that it was just literally 30 minutes and it was up to my hips. And so we just left, and I got in my car and I was just so many thoughts going through my head. I called my parents. They were in Florida, luckily enough, and my dad and my mom just got in the car and they drove here. And I got to my house and I called, I texted everybody that had cakes. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't make your cake for tomorrow. And yeah, we came back and the whole shop was completely just lost. The fridges toppled over, everything completely lost. And it was the week before Thanksgiving, so we had ordered everything for, Thanksgiving and all the pie orders and everything. And I just thought, I remember looking in the store and I was like, there's no way I win on this one. I just, wave the white flag. And my husband's like, it's okay, it's nothing you did. It was just so emotional. And the next morning, I remember it was COVID, so bleach nowhere to be found. Nothing, you couldn't find anything. And I brought the few things that I had at my house. I had a bottle of bleach and wipes, and we came in the next morning and I posted the night before, if anybody has bleach or mops or anything, I would love to buy it from you. And I show up the next morning and I wish I had the picture, and I'm gonna probably cry a little, but just tables full of mops and bleach and gloves and just so many things people had brought over, and personal things, people know that I love Coke Zero and I call it my poison, and they brought Coke Zero, and our coffee friends brought coffee. Like I said, Amanda brought her tables from Resident Culture and just set up everything, and just people were there just helping me too. People my clients and Lindsay, and just so many people just showed up to clean. And I would say no, what are you doing here? Go work. And they would say, we're where we need to be right now. And just the whole day we spent cleaning up, and I was ready to give up less than 24 hours before. And just, you can't go through something like that and not have it completely changed your life. And I realized then how beautiful Charlotte is. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's just, I felt, I don't know, like I'm a girl from Honduras and I just moved here and I just have a bakery, and just the way people showed up just made me feel so loved. And so many people said, you know, like, this is the community, and it's just such a beautiful community, truly. I just have no words other than I might cry.
I don't know if you guys know, but Charlotte is very special. Like, if you've lived in other places and things, I know when I moved here in 2007, my prayer was I just wanted to meet good people. And I say this, this is my fact, my truth, but I have yet to meet someone that I don't like. I just really love Charlotte. And right when you said it, I was like, Charlotte is amazing. I just think we are so blessed to live in such a very special city, good people, good-hearted people. Like, outreach is huge. Like, we're all always looking to serve and looking for somewhere to go volunteer and to help. And, you know, it was beautiful. I just knew you were going to say that. You were like, everyone's here to help and to serve. And so I'm glad that that the city was able to come to your aid at that time and give you the energy, the motivation, and the encouragement that you need to keep going, because that's what we need sometimes. And that's what community is. Back in 2014, I was completely depressed, working at a TV station. I was working at WCCB, and I was depressed. I wanted to quit and break my contract. I was crying every day and all this stuff, and I felt the Holy Spirit asking me to start a small group. With, mind you, I didn't grow up in the church, don't know how to pray out loud, don't know any of these things, so I don't know why I was feeling this nudge. But over time, I finally did it, and I got a couple women together for a lunchtime, and we brought our Bibles. And we all started to cry within 15, 20 minutes of this time. And I'm like, whoa, what is happening? And I ended up starting a nonprofit from that, because I realized that women need safe spaces. We need to be able to come together to have real conversations, because it is hard at times. And sometimes it's a conversation outside of your girlfriends or outside of your mom. It's Bible study. It's inspirational conversations. And I didn't feel qualified enough to have these spaces because I wasn't raised in the church, but I started walking this thing out, and I was the type of woman who thought that I don't do women. You know, any of you ladies know what I'm talking about? Like, I hang with the guys, I hang with the fellas, but I realized very quickly that I need women, and I definitely do women, because the guys, it gets to a point they don't understand you. You know what I mean? Like, they can take you to one place, but there's your ladies and your community and your sisters that can carry you the rest of the way. And so I believe that it's these Bible studies that we started in 2014 for women that have really been the grounding and the rooting of the woman that I have become. Surrounding myself with other women where we can be vulnerable and share and support each other when we're up. Like a real cheerleader that's like, girl, I see you and I'm coming to support you. But then a real woman that's like, I'm here to hold you up because you can't stand on your own 2 feet right now. And I've realized the necessity and the importance of that. And now I'm learning how to do that and give that back. But community to me is number one. It's essential. It's who I am. I think it's who the Charlotte community is. And I would not be the woman I am today without community, without real women in my side. So I just want to thank all of you guys for having the heart, as you shared, of women that just show up, you know, because it's needed. And I think this is what's going to make the world a better place, to be honest.
Well, okay, so in 2009, I launched a business, Be Pretty, and I was still working in corporate America, but my heart wasn't there. My heart was in beautifying women. So I was kind of really splitting my time between this full-time job and this new want and love of mine, which is Be Pretty. So I went through a tragedy that happened in 2011, and it kind of forced me to pivot. And so I just took the leap of faith and started my career. I left corporate America. My husband and I We lived right by Chipotle in South End. We sold one car. He took the bus into work every day, and I was like, I'm just going to make Be Pretty. I'm just going to pray about it. Be Pretty is going to be my thing. And so I started doing weddings. And it was just kind of like hair and makeup for weddings, bridal portraits, engagement sessions. And it was a big fear. There was no more salary. I was kind of relying on these weddings. And then there was oh no, there's not really weddings that happen in January, February, March, and I'm so new. And just watching how women came together to support me that mothers of the brides were like, Lindsay, listen, I want to get a group of girlfriends together and we're going to do a makeup lesson with you. Or Lindsay, I'm going to book you on Lowe's corporate headshots. You're going to do 3 days of doing makeup and hair actually for men as they go and do some video presentations. So it was just this constant Women of Charlotte having my back and helping me live my dreams. So that's it.
We have about 7 minutes for the panel portion too, so I want to be sure we get to any audience questions if you have any. I would love for you all to share your community stories too, but I want to just open that up here quick. If anybody's got a burning question, are you just waving yourself? Okay. Careful. This is like an auction. I'm going to call on you here before. All right. If you do, stand up or raise your hand in between. Yes. Oh, and aren't you brave? Stand up here. I don't know if I can reach you, but I'll try to. Can you just yell? Okay. You don't. Great question, and I happen to be sitting in front of the lady who I was going to toss it to anyway for this because I've heard your answer surrounding this. Tara, would you mind jumping in on this one?
Surround yourself by great people. I mean, I think anybody in this room would say if you turned to them and turned to your left or your right and said, hey, can you help me out with something? Every single person in this room is going to say yes. And this is a two-part answer to this. I moved from California to come to a place that reeked of community, right? Southern California is a tough place to find that, and no disrespect to Southern California, but there's a thing called the Charlotte Way, and there is a way here, and you ask for help and you're going to get it. But this is advice I got, but find your board of directors, your personal board of directors. Find the people that you will sit at your table and will say, hey, I think you need to wear this to this interview. And what type of food do you like? What type of interest do you have? Do you like animals? Let's go to the Humane Society. Let's go to Animal Care and Control. Are you interested in helping people survive cancer situations? Go talk to Aaron Santos. Like, everybody in here has a network and has their own personal board of directors. So if you can imagine, it's viral, right? They'll tap into their board. They'll tap into their board. One thing that's amazing about the Checkers is we put on these hockey games. I mean, nobody really cares about those. It's everything else that we do. The hockey fans are going to find you, but it's where a community event breaks out. And so Isabella Santos Foundation, we did events for years for her, and you ask somebody to say, hey, listen, I want to go to a game, but I'm also going to raise money to support these different initiatives. So if you're interested in community, any one of our sports teams, the Hornets, the Panthers, Charlotte FC, the Knights, they all have community programs. So like I said, establish your own personal board of directors and decide who are those people that are going to support you no matter what, and go toe-to-toe with people that you may want to meet someday. There's a network that is amazing in this city. So.
Any other questions? Good question and good answer. All right, I know Whitley wants to jump in on the community question too, so let me let you answer that too.
So the style and fashion community on a whole is in Charlotte is phenomenal. All you have to do is look around you and see. I think that we have like the most stylish city in America, and it's full of talented stylists, jewelers, designers, all of the above. When I came into this community a little over 10 years ago, I basically started my business, as I said earlier, out of nothing but heart and passion and what was inside of me that I had never been able to bring to fruition before. And maybe it was hormonal, but it happened, and I will never forget very early in that path, my friend Sonia Barnes reached out to me, and I didn't even know she was going to be here, but I'm glad she is. Sonia had been working in the industry as a stylist for probably at least 10 years at that point, and I got this email from her, and I knew who she was, but I didn't know her personally, and she emailed me. She said, "Hey, my name is Sonia Barnes," and then I'm gonna fast forward to like we got together, and she asked me to have coffee, and I met with her, and I remember thinking, oh my gosh, why does Sonia Barnes want to have coffee with me? And she said, "Oh, who's this Queen City style girl? I gotta know her." Like, you know, and I was like this new girl, and instead of, you know, sort of talk to the hand like your competition, it was very much like, well, it's who Sonia is. And I, from that moment forward, just said, that's how I want to be. And I call it mindset of abundance, which is a term I learned from my friend Stacy Brown Randall, who picked it up by another friend, Carson Tate. And I think, you know, my grandfather was the owner and operator of the Easy Pay store in downtown Fort Mill for 43 years on the corner of Main and Confederate Street. And when True Value came in, Little True Value, which is like a franchise, you know, it's like Black Hawk Hardware. So this is way before the time of Home Depot and Lowe's. When True Value came in, he said, competition breeds business. And I could not agree with that more. And so thanks to Sonia and also my friend Lauren Adams, who is another very talented, she owned a store in Charlotte for many years called Chazelle. And I always say Chazelle, rest in peace, because it was one of the greats that is not here anymore. But you know, I basically just had my grit and my heart, and there were a lot of people sort of around me that I think were like, what are you doing? Why are you like taking pictures of yourself? And I mean, it was a very lonely, scary time. And, you know, that's all I had was my grit and my heart. And I went to, you know, stores, and some stores sort of, I mean, I had the Julia Roberts moment. Like many, you know, there were many times I remember specifically what I was wearing when I walked into that store, and I had the Julia Roberts moment. And Lauren, you know, once I sort of tried to prove who I was just an honest girl who wants to work hard and celebrate others in the community. Lauren gave me a shot, and she said yes, and she let me use her clothes for, you know, a photo shoot. And it was, you know, it's women like that. And so I have been surrounded by women like that. And I just want to say what I would love to share that women like that gave to me is, you know, always, I want to encourage you to always be like that for another woman. Whenever other stylists have, you know, created themselves, you know, I've tried to reach out and say, hey, your photos look awesome, or create an alliance of stylists so we can work together to support the community as a whole. And I think that, you know, if someone's going through divorce, you know, it can be a very polarizing, lonely time. Reach out and say, hey, you know, I've been there. Or if someone broke their arm, you know, whatever it is, we just need to have a mindset of abundance and lift each other up at all times and say I love you and be there and just show up and be there for each other.
What a panel. Ladies, thank you so much. I want to keep us on time here, so we're going to wrap the panel portion of the morning right now. But I know that many of you probably have questions for these ladies or want to keep in touch with them. But, you know, you can't all stand up in front of a room of 300 people and ask them, nor do you want to. So slide into their DMs. I'm going to let them right now tell you how to best find them. If you could all just quickly say kind of where to find you, if you have a favorite spot on social media so that people can keep in touch with you. And I'll meet you at the end with the mic, Jacinda.
The best place for me is Instagram, and it's Kristen with an I-N, Kristen Hayes Jewelry.
And mine is just the Queen City Style, THE Queen City Style.
I took myself off social media, you guys. I'm sorry. My Instagram is private. I don't have Twitter, and I took away Facebook about 5 years ago. So you can find me at tblack@gocheckers.com. That's my email address. Yeah, and go to a game. Yeah.
Thank you. Mine is Instagram as well, Lindsay Reagan Thorne.
Mine is at the Batchmaker.
Got these wires up here. If you ladies will please get out your cell phone and follow me on Instagram. And here's why. I am competing with my husband to get more followers. I would love a follow, and I'll follow back, team follow back, at Just Jacinda, Jacinda. Please follow me. Do it.
You will not be sorry, believe me. And Tara, I am bummed that you're off because you had great cat footage too, cat content. Panelists, thank you so much. You can please have a seat at your table. I'm gonna jump down. And listen, while they have a seat, I just want to point out to anybody, our babies who are in the corner here on either side, I want you to be able to have a view of this screen for the video we're about to show. So if you cannot see this well, please feel free to pick your seat up and move to a corner or to the side, kind of adjust your seating as is necessary, because this is a really, really powerful, impactful video that we're about to show, and it's why we're all here today. So please turn your seats as you need to. Find your seats there for our panelists.
Okay, please tell me your name.
Isabella.
Isabella what?
Isabella Santos.
Isabella what?
Isabella Joanne Santos.
Yeah, buddy.
Hi, buddy.
I was actually really nervous about being a mom.
Isabella. Hey.
I was never that girl that loved babysitting or loved babies and couldn't get enough of it.
What do you think, buddy? Are you going to tell me a story?
I was really worried that I wasn't going to have that motherly gene, to be honest with you.
Is that good?
And then seeing her be so dependent on me or want me or have me be able to provide comfort to her when I thought I would fail miserably at this.
You gonna brush your hair? Pretty girl.
So she gave me confidence to be the mom I am today.
What do you got?
She was super theatrical. She was always singing.
I need a microphone. All the single ladies. All the single ladies. Put your hands up.
She had no shyness about her whatsoever. I think she was a little unaware of herself at times where you were like, oh my gosh, what is she doing? She didn't care who was watching her. She would go up to anybody. She had all these friends. She was so excited about school.
Yeah, and you got lots of friends at school? And what about boyfriends?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of them?
Yeah. Lots.
She was just over the top fabulous. She was such a good baby, in fact, that by the time we hit her second birthday, I was pregnant with my next child.
Say Easter!
Easter!
You know, she was everything that the book said was going to happen pretty much happened with her until it didn't. Looking back, it's easy to see the signs now. So many nights when we would put her to bed, she would say, "Mommy, can you rub my back? My back hurts." So we just kept thinking that maybe she had a bruise there or she had torn a muscle in her back or something like that. She was 2.5 at the time, so things were going on in her body that she couldn't really articulate. We went in and got routine blood work done, which came back abnormal. So she had an MRI and we were just, we had no idea what we were walking into. I don't remember too much about it. I remember what she was wearing, oddly. It's so silly.
You know, we have kind of a saying that, you know, we're the devil, right? We're the ones who walk in the room and give you the worst news, and we're there for your worst day.
I just remember being in a small room and not being at all prepared for what we were going to hear.
You know, I specialize in neuroblastoma and sarcomas, and Those are the hardest diagnoses to give. Try to deliver really, really awful news in a way that doesn't come off as awful as it actually is.
And then when they told us the word neuroblastoma, I had never even heard that word before. Tell me what this is again. Tell me what this is again. What was that word again? I had to have them keep saying it.
Pediatric cancer is an incredibly rare cancer. Regardless of what cancer it is still rare. And 95% of the pie is the adult world, right? Breast, colon, prostate. And so you tell someone they've got neuroblastoma, people are like, what? What is that? Why is that? Like, where did it come from? All these things, and we just don't know the answer.
And then they take you upstairs immediately to the oncology clinic, and you're sitting in a waiting room with kids with bald heads. It happened that quick.
Hi, that's all for today.
Okay. Thank you for letting me interview you today.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Can you guys do some dancing in those shoes?
Finding treatment for her back, I guess 15 years ago, is completely different than it is today.
Back then, it was a 40% survival. I mean, there were so many different questions at that time on what the right thing to do was. That for a parent in the early 2000s was just really hard.
There weren't pediatric cancer Facebook groups and all of that stuff. What you knew was what your doctor told you. Levine, of course, gave us what her treatment plan will look like, but not being offered other choices was a big issue. It was, this is your home hospital and this is where people get treated. 90% of people at that time just stayed with their doctor. They stayed where they got diagnosed and wished for the best. We did not do that. My sister at the time started researching neuroblastoma survivor stories, and she was finding that a lot of these children were going to Memorial Sloan Kettering in Manhattan.
So Sloan Kettering has been doing it different for a long time, where they don't offer stem cell transplant, they offer another drug.
They were developing a drug that they were making at Sloan because drug companies weren't making it.
There's not enough of those patients to really do rapid turnaround medicine.
So how do you make drugs for kids when there's only 600 of them in the US? That's not a profitable business to be in, and we found that out quickly.
And that was the two choices, really. That was it. The data it just wasn't out on either. And I think that for us here locally was a real challenge. You know, we didn't want her to leave and we couldn't offer things. It would suck.
Do you like going up to New York City?
Not very much.
Why?
Because I get my line and go up to the doctors every day. And I have to wake up very early, and I don't like to be wake up very early.
I think the hardest part is that life doesn't stop, right? But the world just keeps going.
So every day, all day was just me with her, up learning what we're doing, holding a vomit bucket for her, giving her medicines, sleeping in hospital beds.
We're putting central lines in you. We're giving you chemo. We're giving blood transfusions, platelet transfusions.
They would give you chemo in a backpack and be like, come back tomorrow. And I mean, I'm 28 years old with Isabella wandering through Central Park with a backpack of chemo and a vomit bucket underneath our stroller. I mean, this is how we were doing it. It's crazy.
Probably 7-10 days ago, the worst thing you could think about was, did she nap today? Did she not? You know, those simple things.
Touch our left foot.
Hey, how was it? Did you run the whole way?
Yes.
Yeah? All the way to the stop sign?
Isabella Santos Foundation really just started because a bunch of people wanted to come together and help, and organized a 5K to bring funding and awareness to kids with rare cancers. So our main goal is to beat cancer, grow hair, and help kids live their dreams. It stemmed from Isabella. She put it out there that she was going through cancer, and she didn't care. She would talk to everybody about it. She'd invite you to come to her blood drives. She would, ask you why you didn't show up at her race. They raised $7,000 that year, and we sent the money up to Sloan for neuroblastoma research. We continued it the next year and raised 16. We did it the next year and raised 52. And it just kind of started taking off.
The show that she and I went to together is definitely one of the best days that I've ever had with her. So, oh my God.
This cancer just was relentless. It just kept coming for her.
Oh, there's a big one. It's just, it kind of is like a bomb goes off. You have a tumor somewhere and then it's everywhere. It's in your bones, it's in your bone marrow. It's just hard to kill.
They kept telling us, oh, we don't know what else to do for her, so we're gonna throw the kitchen sink at her, which pretty much means we're gonna almost kill your kid, but not kill her, and then bring her back.
You know, she took hit after hit after hit and just kind of kept smiling. She was pretty amazing.
It was just absolutely incredible what this kid had to go through.
Looking a parent in the eye and telling them there's nothing else we can do is hands down the worst part of the job, and just takes a little bit out of you every single time.
By the time that this was her maybe 5th or 6th relapse, she was tired. And we were tired. And we had gone to Philadelphia. We had tried experimental drugs. There was nowhere else for us to go. We just kept hoping. You know, you talk to other neuroblastoma families and they're like, well, we hear a vaccine's coming. We hear this is coming. So you're just waiting. You're hoping something will get approved. Something will get funded. Can she just hold on long enough to get this next thing? And she just couldn't. So I think at the end, she didn't want to go anymore. And I feel bad saying that we didn't either. It got to the point where we had just put her through too much. And I just don't think any of us would survive putting her through something else. So it just took over quick at the end. She just didn't have any other options.
Very nice.
So I think my advice for women, don't let something horrible in your life define you. So I think when people meet me, they're like, I cannot believe you had a child that passed away from cancer, and I take pride in that because that doesn't define who I am. It's just part of who I am. So anyway, so thank you so much.
So when we decided to keep the foundation going after she passed away, we were raising about $100,000 a year and just having a 5K, and it just continued to grow. We would do events, and I look back and think about me standing up at a podium, and I mean, I was just an absolute disaster.
And yeah, I know, let's just get this party started.
I had buried a daughter less than a year ago, and I'm up on stage asking a bunch of women to donate to rare pediatric cancer, and people were doing it.
I think the Aarons of the world are rare, incredibly rare. I don't know if I could tell that story over and over again. She's probably shed more tears in a lifetime.
This thing really came to be because it was how I was grieving. The women that surrounded us were just like, you know, you're who I would want to be if I had gone through this, which was such an inspiring thing for me to say because I felt like I was falling apart.
If you've ever heard Erin talk or her team talk, it's real. And I think they've been able to channel that, and they've been able to get people to tell stories like this. And I don't think our community was really listening, you know, or hearing before.
Last year I had leadership coaching, which is horrible. And she told me that I was one of the only people, male and women both, that almost scored perfectly in aggressiveness and dominance and intimidation. But I think sometimes it's okay to be scary as a woman, because that's how you get shit done.
And it just became something where we're raising $1 million, $2 million a year.
My hope is to be able to talk to each of you a little bit about what ISF does.
Together, we can make twice the impact for kids with rare pediatric cancers here in Charlotte and international.
So sometimes I think impact isn't about raising money, but it's really just doing the right thing.
We really kind of take pediatric cancer here in Charlotte, especially rare cancers, under our wing.
And we're just trying to do everything we can for the local community.
A wonderful organization right here in our own backyard.
Thank you, Erin, for being here tonight and for continuing to share your story. We certainly appreciate that.
Keep fighting the fight.
Thank you. Thanks for checking in.
I love my team. My team has been with me forever. The initial stages of having employees on ISF was moms showing up after they had dropped off their kids from preschool in workout clothes, sitting around my dining room table, having coffee with a whiteboard and kind of being like, what do we want to talk about today? So it was as grassroots as you could possibly get. They knew her, they knew me, they knew my family, they know these other children. We have just become a band of sisters.
Most of these organizations come out of the gate firing 1, 2, 3 years and then they fizzle. You know, to get from there to here, and it's a testament to her and her team. Don't tell her I give her a compliment.
Dr. Osterheld is an amazing man. He was one of Isabella's oncologists out of the gate, who I've had a very interesting relationship with over the course of 15 years.
It took a long time, that relationship, let's be honest. First interaction probably wasn't so hot. We struggled a little bit with our communication, and I was really young.
I was a squeaky wheel for him, and I did not give him an inch.
She was fierce. She just wanted the best things for her daughter, and she didn't care what you told her and how you said it. And I think she turned that fierceness and that drive into ISF.
But as I started to get myself together and think about where I wanted to take this, he was becoming one of the best oncologists ever.
And so we just started talking a lot. And really when it caught fire was we had a conversation about building this room called MIBG, which is a lead-lined room. I don't think the conversation lasted, it felt like 30 seconds, and somehow Erin signed a deal that we were gonna build this room and they were gonna support it.
That was our first big step, was to raise $1 million. And to have that treatment room so people would not have to leave.
That put us really squarely on the map. They knocked it out of the park, and then they were like, well, what's next? And let's keep going.
Let's think pie in the sky. What is the best thing that we could do? And he said to build a program here in Charlotte for rare cancers. We committed $5 million over the course of 5 years to build that. So now I see him as a colleague, and anything that he believes in, I believe in.
We're kind of forever tied, right? And our successes are their successes, and I love that. And now, you know, they're funding so much for us and have put the Rare and Solid Tumor Clinic in a different stratosphere over the last, 2 to 3 years.
We brought in the top doctor for rare cancers here to Charlotte. And since then, we have seen this program double. She's building a team around her. She has a lab with her. So now that we're doing clinical trials for rare cancers, and that's never been done here in Charlotte.
The physicians that are here now are, world-renowned. I hate that word, but it's true.
We have kids coming from 24 different countries around the world.
Patients from South Africa, Australia, Germany, you name it. It's like the United Nations in our clinic now, and I love that.
We try to provide a 360-degree support for all families going through cancer and really just building something amazing here in Charlotte.
This week, Levine Children's Hospital was named one of the best in the country for its pediatric cancer, cardiology, and neonatal care.
It has the area.
We are blessed here, to be honest. Lots of groups across the country envy us and all of the support that we have, just because it takes a lot of people to get a kid through cancer. That wouldn't have happened. We wouldn't be the main institution for a 60-plus consortium. We wouldn't have our lab doing tumor samples every day and taking patients' tumors and growing them and doing all this exciting work, because we just wouldn't have been able to fund it. ISF and everything that they've provided to us just allows us to push medicine and push boundaries, to be in the conversation of moving science forward. And we're doing that. And I think without ISF, we couldn't, period.
We have the same mission, and that is to make Charlotte one of the best places in the world to go for rare cancers.
We are a wonderful program for many, many reasons, but we are not even remotely close to where we want to be. I think the rarity, the harshness of the chemo, how sick these kids get, the need for every person in the hospital to touch these kids. How do we continue that moving forward?
We're getting flooded with calls. We're getting flooded with patients. We don't have enough doctors to serve the kids that want to come here for something that you have built. So when I look at just, oh, I can't wait till we pay off this $5 million, I think what's coming behind that is going to just blow us all away, and we don't even know it's there yet.
So the Isabella Santos Foundation is, I mean, it's going to sound so cheesy, but in one word, it's hope, right? It's allowing us to, push the envelope pretty hard here. They really care about you. Right? ISF really does care. There's a lot of heart behind it.
There is so much going on in our world today that rare pediatric cancer is never anybody's hot button. These rare cancers, they come in, your kids live less than a year, the families are just heartbroken, destroyed, they don't want anything to do with this, and they move on. So I think if people knew what was happening and what we as a group of women were trying to do, they would say, are you kidding me? How can I be involved? When you give money to ISF, you can see it. You can go up to the hospital. You can meet the doctor that you paid for. You can meet the family that you just paid to have their personalized medicine delivered to them. We're doing everything we can to make lives better, and every dollar that you give does that. I've been blown away at watching the transformation of care for kids with rare cancers just in the last 10 years. I mean, when we were diagnosed and hearing 40%, that is a horrible number to hear. The number is closer to 60, 70, approaching 80, depending on what treatment plan and what your child's cancer looks like. That's an incredible number to get, and I think that's what we're providing.
What would I tell Isabella if she were here today? Not a lot of curse, but your mom's kind of a bad blank.
Look at what Mommy and all of her friends did for you and your friends.
Look what you made. Look what you created. Look what your legacy brought.
Her legacy will outlive me, which is what every parent wants, right?
I know it was hard, but you changed lives.
There's nothing better to live for. Giving families a chance almost makes her death worth it. It feels good, but it also feels bad because I wish we were benefiting from it. But it makes me happy that through her death, somebody else is living, which is what we should all want, I guess, right? Yep.
So yesterday, as many of you are aware, was the International Women's Day, where we celebrate women and each other. And today is the day that would have been Isabella's 17th birthday. I'm supposed to be the one who can get through this, excuse me. Today would have been Isabella's 17th birthday. So it, of course, has importance and significance. And in particular, because even just a few years can make a big difference in terms of kids who are getting just turned 17 today. And I want to hear a little bit from both of you, if you would share the significance of today, what that means for you, and what it does mean in terms of hope for other kids, and why we're all here today.
So I was doing really good when I woke up this morning. I had a board member tell me once, your pain is no longer property of ISF. And I love that he said that, because I've been trying to not make it that way anymore. And we got in the car to take Sophia to school, and I was like, Bud, turn on some music. Like, let's get this thing lively. And what did he put on? Taylor Swift. And I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, this is what I do on her day. We go to Red Lobster, and we eat, and I listen to Taylor Swift, and he knew all the songs, and I'm just sitting there, and he's holding my hand as I'm driving the car, absolutely. And he's crying, and I'm crying, and I realized that, like, her birthday, it's not just about me anymore. It means something to so many other people. So I'm going to let Grant speak for a second about what it means to him.
I think today means more than I can put into words. I do want to take a second and I really do thank you guys for coming out here and celebrating with me and my mom, because her life meant everything to us. It meant absolutely everything. And I like to think of today as more of a day of celebration, right? To celebrate her and her life and, you know, the impact she's had on me and this amazing woman to my left. And she just touched so many people's hearts. And she's been gone for a long time, it feels, and I don't have as many memories as I wish I did, but God, I just know she touched so many people's hearts, mine especially. And, you know, I think it's a big part of who I am today. And, you know, I love the things that we do to celebrate her. I mean, I know you hated the Taylor Swift, but I was singing every single lyric to like early 2000s country Taylor Swift. It was great. And, you know, and obviously we're going to go to Red Lobster tonight, so the amount of processed shrimp I'm going to eat is going to be fantastic. But no, I mean, she really did touch so many people, and I just will forever be grateful to her and my mother and father and sister, because it's just a really big part of who we are today. And I mean, I would give the world for that.
You all think he's great, right? So we're sitting there, and she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you said porn in North Carolina." He's like, "Well, I guess I'm canceling my flight then." He's a disgusting person, so.
Oh, great. How old are you? 28. Yeah, 28. I know, exactly. Well, you know, I want to go back to a little bit about what you talked about in the video there too, and what we were talking about before in terms of the hope that you are now bringing to other families, because it's so inspiring to sit up here and see the two of you together in particular, and all that you are doing for the community and other families like yours, who you said, you know, you're not able to do it for your own, but you are doing all of this so that other families don't have to experience it. And that's what's happening because your community is coming around and helping to make that happen, right? So can you talk to us a little bit about how that plays out, practically speaking, for individuals? Because I know we have a family here today who is a great example of that.
Carrie and her son Gunnison are here today for their first long-term survival clinic. So what that means is that he's cancer-free long enough that he no longer has to get scans, which is amazing. The crazy thing is that he was diagnosed just a couple months after Isabella passed away. So that should show you that, and he actually just turned 17. Which is how old that she would have been today. And if you look at the list of treatments that he received, she received the same. So to think of how much things have improved, and that was just, 5 years. So, I mean, I definitely think that she would be here today because of what we're building, because of what we're doing. We've brought in that top doctor, who's the top doctor for all of rare cancers, is now in Charlotte. Like, I don't think you guys understand how freaking cool that is. That kids from 24 countries are coming to where you live to have a chance to survive. And that's because we have these coffees. I mean, I look around at like some of these people that have been here forever. I mean, I think of like Jen Eisen and Stephanie Grigg and Kimberly Smith and Megan Barlow. I mean, you guys have been here from these first coffees, and you guys have donated. Lisa Weaver, get out of here. I mean, you've given so much money, I don't know how you afford a house. Tara Hopper. I mean, I just look around the room, and I mean, some of these people are original gangster people that you guys helped build this thing, and this is all because of you guys, and now kids are living because of you.
How many people, Aaron just shouted out a lot of folks who have been involved over the years. How many people for you, this is your first ISF event? Can we see a show of hands? Raise your hand. Oh, what good, about half each day, right? Yesterday and today. So welcome to all of these new faces. Can I borrow one of your cards, one of your donation cards on your table? Because I would just love, Aaron, for you to break down for us, because this card does a really good job of explaining to you the tangible way that you can help. Because as Aaron explained before, the treatments now that are in place that Isabella had to go through, what you call it the kitchen sink, right? Just throwing everything at a kid to see what works, to see what might stick. And now that doesn't have to happen, and they can really pinpoint the precision medicine that each individual child gets. And that is because of donations like this. And it's broken down on the card. Will you walk folks through that?
So the thing that we're funding today is something called precision medicine. So what happens now, which is crazy that it's just happening now in 2022, is that when you're diagnosed with cancer as a child, your tumor is run through a computer and it spits out what treatments work for your cancer. That's unbelievable that we haven't been doing that until now. And the crazy thing is that every child that's diagnosed, that data helps the child behind them. And the crazy thing is, insurance doesn't cover it, and it's only $1,500 to do that for your child. So when we found out about this, I called them immediately and said, we'll do it for every kid that comes to Charlotte. Don't ever give it an option. Do it for every kid. ISF is going to pay for it. So they anticipate around 200 kids this year, so it's $250,000, and we're covering it. So that's what your money is paying for, to have someone have treatment that is personalized for them instead of throwing who knows what at a wall and hoping that it works. And as you guys know, chemo treatments, they lose their hearing, they lose infertility, they have the possibility of second cancers, heart problems. I mean, like, why in the world would we not do this all the time? And it's only $1,500. That's insane to me. So, and I know $1,500 is a lot for a lot of people, so just give anything. We have a great story yesterday. I'm sorry, I'm going to steal your thunder, but we had a woman that sat with me at my table that we left, and she said, I have 4 kids, I'm paying for 4. So, I mean, she donated $6,000 because she was like, I would want someone to do that for my kid. So I know all these women out here, this is why we're successful, not because you feel sorry for me, feel sorry for Grant, or doing it to honor Isabella, because most of you don't know them. You're doing it because you would want someone to do it for your kid, and that's what's cool about this room.
And just to make a point also, the goal for these events is to raise $200,000. We got almost to halfway yesterday. There are more of you here today. So if everybody pitches in, our goal is for 100% participation, okay, today. And as Aaron said, some of you are able to donate large amounts, and that is spectacular. Some of you are not, and that is okay. A $25 donation makes a huge difference. Think of it this way. Pay for your breakfast this morning if you're able to. If you're able to do more, please consider doing more. It's very easy to do the way that your card is laid out. If you pick up the cards that look like this, I'll stand up so you can all see. I'll use my 6 feet here. These cards, front and back. On the back portion is the credit card information. They might be under plates or in pamphlets and things there on your table. Yeah, you can fill out credit card information there. There's different options that you can check. And as well, on your tables, you should have codes that you can scan. For those of you who are more tech savvy than I am and can actually figure out how to do QR codes and fancy things like that, you can Venmo directly. What's the other code for? See, I told you I'm not there. It takes you right to the website to donate directly on the website perfectly, so you can do it very easily any way that you choose to do that. You have a table captain at your table. Raise your hand, table captains. And you should have a white manila envelope on your table as well. So as you're filling out your cards, either pass that in to your table captain when you're done, or put it into the white manila envelope if you would, please. I'm going to take a second, too, to thank our sponsors, because I want to point out the sponsors for today. And folks, these are businesses around town that have pitched in, and we would love to encourage you to please support their businesses as well, because they support ISF. So this is on the back of your pamphlet here. Sonic Automotive, Charlotte Radiology, Charlotte Lately, the Tom Bush Law Group, Lake Norman, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, State Line, Tyndall Subaru. Woo, I got a woo for somebody over there. There we go. What table are you? Oh, no, which business were you wooing? Okay, State Line. Pinpoint Patient Recruiting, All In to Fight Cancer, Bright House Financial, J.E. Dunn Construction, The Charlotte Auto Show, Tito's, Noda, Brewing Company, Atrium Health, Levine Children's, One Blood, and Scoop Charlotte. Thank you so much to everyone there. And we're going to give away some more wine here before we go. What else am I forgetting? And yes, she wants me to mention again the credit card, people. We love a credit card, guys. On the back of this card, again, that's where you can put hello, also scanning them in person. Stand up, my beautiful model here. This is Rachel. If you see anyone in a shirt like Rachel's, this purple shirt, you can actually scan a credit card as well. They've got, and right there, they've got the, what are those called? The square things. I'm so techie. They can scan them for you as well. Okay, who's ready for some wine to take home? Wait, stand up. Okay, great. Listen, stand up for a second. This young man and this young man just volunteered. So one of you need to win them because they're not allowed to take the wine home. But if you were, he's still standing. If you were mine, I'd let you do it and I would just take it from you for yourself. Okay, ready? Our final winner, 223 4252. 223 4252. Anybody got that one? Let's try. No? Okay, I'll get one more. Hang tight. 673, and don't be. Wait, did you win the first one? 223 4252. Hey, there we do have a winner. So see somebody in a purple shirt on your way out to collect your wine, and somebody help her again, carry it to her table. I'm so glad people are up here with me to remind me all the things I'm supposed to tell you before you leave. The final thing to let you know before you leave, and please do remember to fill your cards out and leave those before you do. As you leave and you head out of the parking lot, turn to the right. If you turn to the left, none of us we will live at Carmel Country Club for the rest of our lives in the line there. Figure out how to get the other way if you need to turn around afterwards. Waze will get you there, but only turn to the right. Deal? Thank you so much for being here. Please stay involved and follow along the Isabella Santos Foundation. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your money even more. Love you guys. Thank you so much.